So let me tell y'all what happened to me, right? So my birthday is at the end of October, right? And this year it fell on a Thursday. Now, it's not a secret. I'm not keeping it a secret. I am currently homeless and I live in my car. And yeah, so I wanted to get my hair done for my birthday. I ended up scheduling an appointment with this girl to get braids for 2 days before my birthday, which was cutting it close. I typically like to get it like done like a week before, just in case something happened. So literally 1 week before, the girl hits me up and she's like, oh, what's your address so I can know how much to charge you for a travel fee? So I'm like, what do you mean a travel fee? I'm like, the last time you did my hair, when I had got braids back in August, I literally just drove up to like the salon that you was in and you did my hair. So she was like, no, she's not in the salon no more. Whoop-de-whoop-de-woo. And so now she's a travel braider, and so she needs my address. So I tell her the truth. Like, I can't send you an address. I don't have one. So she tells me, okay, you can come over to my spot and then I'll just braid your hair at my place. So I'm like, okay, cool, right? Literally, y'all, the very next day, she canceled my appointment and then she sent me a text message and she was like, oh, yeah, I had to cancel your appointment. I'm a travel braider. You don't have nowhere for me to travel to, so I won't be able to do your hair. And so I was like, what do you mean? I'm like, what do you mean you can't do my hair? I literally, like, what happened between yesterday and today? Because you was cool with it yesterday, but then 24 hours later, you're not. So she was like, nothing happened. She just can't do my hair. So I'm like, okay, right? So I'm like, okay, it was 4 or 5 days before so she canceled on Friday. So it's Friday night. So it's Saturday. My birthday's on Thursday. So it's like 4 or 5 days before my birthday, right? And I'm like, I need to find a new person to do my hair last minute, right? And it has to be within a certain dollar amount, because your girl don't got no money, because I only planned for the amount for the braids, right? So I'm just like giving up. If you know what I've been going through recently, I've been going through a lot. So I just kind of gave up and I was like, I don't feel like doing this. And then the Holy Spirit was like, no, get back on Style Seat, try to find something, get your hair done. It's your birthday. So I'm like, okay. I get on Style Seat. I find a girl who could do my hair, right? And she can do my hair Wednesday. My birthday's on Thursday, so she can do it Wednesday morning. And I'm like, it's not what I wanted, but we still gonna be cute, right? So I booked the appointment, right? Y'all, Saturday goes by, Sunday goes by. Here comes Monday. Now, the Lord told me to go do something. I went and did it. I'm coming back from my assignment. I'm going back to the place that I normally park. The place that the Lord has me is near the church that I locally attend, right? That I regularly attend in person. And so that's where I always be at. That's where I stay. I stay around my church. That's what the Lord told me to do. That's what we've been doing. That's where we've been safe, right? So I'm driving back to the spots where I be parking at. And all of a sudden, y'all, I am on the freeway. I'm going 65 miles per hour on the freeway. My car, all of a sudden, my car goes doom, 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 doom. Like, it just, yeah. On the freeway, it stops accelerating and it goes into safe mode. And I didn't know what safe mode was at the time, but I know what it is now. My car goes into safe mode on the freeway. So I have to pull over. I pull over off to the right. My car, and now I'm looking down at the dash. The check engine light is blinking, right? It's blinking. So I'm like, what's going on? So of course, I do what anyone would do. Turn it on, turn it back off, turn it off, turn it back on. I turn the car on, I turn it back off, and I turn it off, turn it back on. The car is still blinking. The light is still blinking, and my car will not go faster than 25 miles per hour. And I'm like, so I call my little brother who's a mechanic, and he's like, yeah, your car's in safe mode. You're going to have to get it towed. I said, what does safe mode mean? Basically, you can't drive it because there's something major going on in the car. And I was like, okay. So I've been driving since I was 17 years old. I have never been in this kind of situation. I have never had to call a tow before. And not only am I in a never situation, I am literally across the country by myself. I live in California. I'm originally from Florida. I live out here by myself. I have no idea what to do. I have nobody to call. So I'm sitting there stuck like Chuck trying to figure out what to do, right? Praise God, we got ERS. So I'm like, okay, I don't know what to do. I don't know who to call. I don't really have nobody to call. So let me call the tow company. Let me call my car insurance and see if they'll get me a tow. So I call my car insurance. They get me dispatched. They get a tow dispatched out to me, right? Y'all, I was in the car for 4 hours waiting on this tow. 4 hours. Around the 3-hour mark, and this is important, listen. Around the 3-hour mark, the tow dispatching company, I guess my case got escalated to somebody. They canceled my tow, called me another tow company, another tow truck company. Didn't tell me that's what they did. So the first tow truck company they dispatched, they was still a significant amount away, but they called me and was like, hey, why you canceled the tow? I'm sitting here like, the only person I've ever spoke to was the tow dispatch people, and they didn't even tell me that they canceled the tow, right? So the second guy finally comes after 4 hours, y'all. It was dark. It was cold because I was coming up the 101 from Ventura County. If you live in California, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, it don't matter. But the point I'm trying to make is that I was coming up and I was up against this like mountain. It was dark. It was cold. And I wasn't sure if it would be safer for me to sit in the driver's side or the passenger side, because God forbid somebody coming up the 101, because you have to go up this slope. And that's where I was at. I literally got to like the tip of the slope, and that's where my car decided to take a dump. I was going to use a different word. But anyways, so so I wasn't sure like even which side to be on. I was in that car for 4 hours, y'all, and I was cold and I was angry. And so I'm sitting there in the car and I'm like, okay, I feel like this is a test. The Lord wants us to respond well. He wants us to respond well. So what do? I start singing praise and worship songs. That ain't really helping me. I pray a little bit. That ain't really helping me. And I just decided to play games on my phone. As I'm sitting here waiting, right, the first tow dispatch people told me to put my hazard lights on because they was on the way. It wasn't going to take more than 90 minutes. 4 hours passed. By the time the second tow got to me, my car battery died. It died. It was dead. And this is significant because a couple weeks prior, I went to go get an oil change, and the people at the oil change place told me, hey, you got a bad battery. You need to change your battery. I asked them, hey, how much does a battery cost for my car? Well, my car, she's a ditty, right? And so she can't just get a basic battery. She need a premium battery. And at the specific place that I was at, it was going to cost me $300. At the time, I didn't have the $300. And so I had to go earn $300. So I go out, I earned $300. I got $300 in my savings account. I have $300 plus my hair money. I want y'all to keep track of this, right? $300 to buy a new battery. That was all that I had, plus the money I was going to spend to do my hair. That was it, right? This was Monday. Oh, I've skipped a step, but I'm gonna come back. This was Monday, right? Monday? Yes, this was Monday. I gotta make sure. So this was Monday night, right? And so My appointment for my hair is on Wednesday. My birthday's on Thursday. My car just stopped working on the freeway on Monday night, right? And so my battery died. Now, for the last couple of weeks, I've been laying hands on the dashboard every morning, praying to the Lord on high. Lord, let today not be the day. Because I don't know how much they said the percentage was, but if they had said that, I have 40% battery left, that meant I had 30 more percent of battery left. You hear me? Before I was going to change this battery, right? Because it wasn't to the point where it was like, when a battery is bad and it's, it wasn't doing that. It's just, it wasn't even as crazy as, it wasn't even until that guy said something about the battery that my battery went to acting up. Because if he didn't say nothing, my battery probably wouldn't have been acting up. But it wasn't until after he proclaimed it was something wrong with my battery that my battery then, every now and again, it would take a second. You know what I mean? So anyways, the point I was trying to make is that I knew that I had to get a new battery for this car, point blank, period. I had the money saved up, but because we living on the edge with God right now, I was trying to hold on to that $300 for dear life and get the most that I could out of the battery that I had, right? Okay, so my car battery died. So when the tow truck gets there, he has to jump my car, but because he doesn't know, I don't know what's wrong, and he says a blinking check engine light is really bad. He didn't want to charge the battery too much so it wouldn't be a problem, right? So I said, okay. He said, but you got enough to turn the car on tomorrow morning so you can get it to go get checked. I said, okay, that's great. That's really all that I need, right? So he asked me, I had to give him information on where to tow the car to. So I tell him the truth. So I say, the only thing I can think of is where I always be at. Go do it near the church. And that's what I heard the Lord tell me to do, go do it near the church. But my mind, my logical brain was saying, why wouldn't you go do it next up to the Pep Boys? Because that's where I would have taken it to get it repaired. Anyways, I used to get it done at Pep Boys in Florida. So I called my mom. I said, would it be smarter to do this, do that, right? And my mom says, but you've never slept near the Pep Boys. You don't know if it's going to be a safety concern or not. So go put it, she said, even if you got to pay for a second tow, go put it where you're going to be safe near the church. Because for the last few months, that's where you've been at. That's where the Lord told you to be at. It's going to be safe. The Lord said it. My mama said it. I said, okay. That I go against my right mind, because my right mind is saying go tow it somewhere else, and I go park it near the church, right? This was around midnight. I'm very frustrated because I don't know what this is going to cost me. I don't have no job. This not having a car or my car being shut down, it's not like a small thing. It's a big thing. I live here, right? And it's like, I use this to go get food, like the few places that feed the homeless, the few places that I need to go use the restroom. Like, I use my car for those to survive. I get my car towed near the church where I be at, and it's parked there. It's midnight. I try to get as much sleep as I can. I am angry. In the midst of that, I remember, the Lord brings back to my remembrance, I have a car warranty. Y'all, listen, the way I was trying to fight them putting on this warranty on the car because I thought it was too much, but I remember the Lord sitting there telling me, just let them do what they're going to do. Because I don't know if you may not watch this video, but I bought my car last year. This was a blessing in and of itself. The Lord told me in a dream. He told me how much to put down. He told me where to go get it. And all he said was show up and be quiet. Pick the car out. I don't know what they did. Clickety, clickety, clack. But I walked out the car dealership with no job, with no money, and had a car, right? And they had put this warranty on there. I was trying to fight them. But in this moment, I remember I have a warranty that will cover everything except for maintenance. So I'm like, oh, this is great, right? So I know that this is going to be covered. Whatever the repairs are, I am assured that this is going to be covered. My only thing is, how am I going to get it? Where do I need to take it for it to be like looked at and repaired and stuff, right? Because I'm new here. I've only lived in California 2 years. I don't know where stuff be at. I don't know who's good, who's reputable, who's like, Anyways, so I park the car. I try to get as much sleep as I can. I wake up at 6 that morning. Because I checked the time. I couldn't really sleep. And the Pep Boys open at 8 a.m. So I'm like, okay, let's move the car over there. So as soon as they open, they will go ahead and check my car and see what's going on, right? I go to turn the car on. My battery is dead. My battery is dead. And so I am mad. I am mad. I'm angry because at this point, I'm like, this ain't nothing but the devil. And I'm like, the devil want me to be ugly because ain't no way. First, my hair appointment get canceled. I book a second hair appointment and then my car stops working. So I can't, and my hair appointment isn't booked in the same city. For you to listen, I don't know what it is. For me, this is what I found. For me to find a reasonably priced hairstylist, I have to be outside of Los Angeles County or Los Angeles. So the first girl I found, the girl that I found was out in Torrance, which is an hour drive, which I wasn't tripping on because I be driving. So, and I didn't consider that a long time. Some people might, it don't matter. So I'm like, oh, so it wasn't like, oh, I could just walk to her house. I could take the bus to her house. I had to drive to her house. My car, and I was like, oh yeah, the devil, he want me to be ugly. That's what it is, right? So I'm sitting in my car. It's 6 a.m. I just found out my battery is dead. What the tow truck driver said was not accurate. He did not give it enough boost for it to last to the morning time, right? So I make the decision because I know whatever is wrong with the car is going to be covered on the warranty. So if I can get the car to be repaired early enough in the morning, maybe whatever the problem is really isn't a big problem. It'll just take a couple hours. Then I can be out and then I can still make it to my appointment, right? On Wednesday. My birthday is on Thursday. It is now 6 a.m. on Tuesday, right? So I get out of the car. I found a guy. I see a guy. It's like 6 something in the morning. Guy number 1. I go up to him and I say, hey, can you give my car a jump? Guy number 1 says no. He's about to start work. He don't want to be late. I said, oh, okay. Thank you. Person number 2. So I said, okay, well, we next to the church folks. I should be able to get some assistance. I walk up to person number 2 and she tells me, no, the car is a rental. And she don't even know if the car has jumper cables, so she can't help me. I said, okay. Now, at this time, the church they're doing like a corporate fast, and every single day they're doing teachings and prayer and all this and that, right? So I know it's going to be some people there. They also have employees, which is also significant, right? They also have employees. So I'm like, okay, y'all going to have some volunteers, some employees, y'all have some attendees. Somebody should be able to help me. I go to guy number 3, person number 3. Person number 3 serves in the church. I asked him, I said, hey, could you come give my car a jump? He says he ain't got no cables. But, because they wasn't open yet, because it was still 6, maybe 7 o'clock in the morning. He said, but when they open, he will ask around and he will get some cables to come out to help me. So I'm like, okay, bet. So I still have to wait. So I go back to the car and I wait about an hour, maybe 2. Now people are showing up to attend the prayer meeting, right? So I go up to where the people are. I see my church friend that's there, and I'm like, hey, do you have cables? She is like, oh yeah, she do. She could give me a jump. I'm like, perfect. We end up using her cables, y'all. You wouldn't believe me if I told you that her cables were bad. And so it was so bad, the cables started melting. Her cables started melting. She couldn't help me, right? So that's person number 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now person number 4. So then I said, you know what? Okay. So I'm gonna try. So as we know, we was leaving, and there was some utility workers, and so I asked them. They was like, we would give you a jump, but we don't have any cables. I said, okay, now I don't have no cables in my car. Now this is the last person I didn't ask, right? I go inside the church, y'all. Now, I go inside the church. For the church that I go to, you got to go through security. The people who work is 2 men. It's 2 men working security at the church, right? And I'm going to try to speed the story up because it's getting long. Anyway, so it's 2 men working security at the front door at the church. So I walk in and I say, hey, I need someone to give me a jump. You all want to know what this person said to me? Y'all want to know what this joker said to me? This joker said, the person, I don't know if they both work for the church, or if I know one works for the church, one might serve. The guy who works for the church, and I mean, they write him a check, putting cash dollars in his bank account. The church, Jesus Christ is signing them paychecks, baby. He looked at me, straight face, no lie. He looked at me and he goes, well, prayer had just started. I think it started at 9 o'clock. They literally started 2 minutes ago. And I know they did because my church friend was pressed to hurry up and get back inside before praise and worship started. So I was like, okay, you go ahead. Don't worry about it. So they literally just started. So it wasn't like somebody, anyways, I asked the guy, I said, can one of y'all come out there and give me a jump? He says, we are on the clock, so we wouldn't be able to help you. He says, we're on the clock, we wouldn't be able to help you. He says, I didn't drive no way, so I definitely wouldn't have been able to, I can't do it, because I didn't even drive. And then the other guy standing there, I don't know him like that, but when I see him in service, he be, hey, how you doing? He be giving me a hug and stuff. Y'all, he stood there and didn't say jack. He didn't say nothing. And the other guy was like, yeah, no, we on the clock. We can't help you. And then he proceeded to say, and if you do, he was like, you're going to have to wait till after prayer. And you're going to have to go outside and ask one of the attendees to come out and help you because we can't help you. I was flabbergasted. I was standing there and I was making a decision because every fiber of my being was telling me to go off on this man. Because what do you mean I'm sitting in a church and you can't help me? You can't help me. And I know there's this viral thing going around with the lady in the baby formula. And she's asking, I wasn't even asking for, it's not like I went in there and I was asking for some money. I need $50. I didn't do any of that. I asked for someone to be inconvenienced at most 20 minutes to go around and ask other people who work in the church, does somebody have some jumper cables? They didn't, It would have been okay if he was like, well, we can just wait until after and I'll make sure. I guarantee you I'm going to come out there and help you and make sure we get this situated. He didn't even say that. He said he would not be able to help me. He was at work. He ain't have no call. I need to go outside and figure it out. It was two men in a church, y'all, in a church. And I know for sure Jesus Christ signed one of them paychecks. Anyways, so I stood there and I had a decision to make on how to respond. And the best choice that I could make was no response. Y'all, I literally just turned around and I walked out. I go to my car, I put my sneakers on, I walk up the road, I walk up to the auto place. I had enough money in my bank account to buy some cables because everybody, that was the consensus. Nobody had no cables. I finally make it back thinking, okay, I'll ask an attendee. I'll ask one of the utility workers, y'all, right? Tell me why. Them jokers usually take 3-4 hours, 3 to 4 hours to do these prayer meetings when they be having them. Today, it was an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours the day that I went. When I went back up there, right? It wasn't nobody there. I said, the utility workers gone. I said, okay, at this point, I'm starting to believe the Lord Jesus Christ just wants me to sit in my car and just wait, And I'm like, this must be some sort of test. This must be something because I'm trying to figure out why am I trying and nothing is happening right. But the Lord Jesus is so good. Let me tell you, right? So I go back to my car. I'm feeling defeated, but I say, no, I need to try one last time. I think this person number 7, right? Because it was number 4, and then the utility workers was number 5, so number 6, yeah. So the church people was number 6, yeah. So they number 7. I remember Tony and Patty. Who is Tony and Patty? Tony and Pat, June 22nd, 2025 was the very first night that I slept in my car. About 1 week from June 22nd, 2025, your girl was musty, okay? And I needed to take a shower. I didn't know what to do. I ain't never been homeless before. I was in the local community park about to take a bird bath in the bathroom. I was distraught. I was distressed and I wasn't paying attention to nothing except what I needed. But Tony and Patty, the Lord sent Patty. She was watching me whole time being distressed, trying to figure out what to do and how to take this bird bath. And the Lord used her. She came up to me, her and her husband, they gave me gas money. Not only did they give me gas money, they also paid for a 1-night stay at a hotel so that way I can be able to take a shower. Amen. Okay, so that was back in June. And I'm not a person that likes to ask people for stuff. And so even though they said, call us anytime if you ever need anything, I never did that because I never wanted people to feel like I'm taking advantage of them or taking advantage of their kindness, right? And so I had their phone number written on a piece of paper. And as much as I clean this car, because I got to clean it every day or every 2 days, right? I never threw that piece of paper away. So I'm sitting in the car and I said, I got to try one last time. They person number 7. I pick up my phone and I send a text message to Tony and Patty. Tony called me. He said, where you at? I tell him where I'm at by the church. He said he'll be there in a few minutes. Tony, pull up. Let me tell you something. There are men and then there's men. Okay? There's men. Tony pull up. He's like, yeah. He jumps my car. I can tell you for a matter of fact, they live at least 10 to 15 minutes away because that's where the local community park is that I be at. 10 to 15 minutes. He got whatever he was doing. He stopped it, got in his car, drove 10 to 15 minutes to come find me, jumped my car. And as I'm sitting there, he said, what's wrong? And I was like, he was like, because he asked me, are you okay? I said, yeah, I'm fine. He said, you said you fine, but you don't look fine. So I tell him the truth. I'm like, my car just took a dump. My car just hit the crapper. And I have a hair appointment on Wednesday that I would really like to go to. And I have my birthday's on Thursday. And you guys are the 7th people that I asked today to come help me jump my car. He was like, okay. He was like, okay, I understand, right? So then let me tell you how God is good, right? And this is why obedience is important. So all of a sudden, Tony says, so I said, oh, so Tony jumps the car, and I said, wait, can I ask you for one more favor? Can you just follow me to the Pep Boys so that I can get my, just in case something happened to the car? And he was like, yeah. He's like, but don't you want to go to the Walmart auto place instead? In this moment, when he asked me this question, I hear the Lord say, whatever he say do, that's what you do, right? Now, when I hear this, all of this is happening simultaneously. When I hear this, instantly, I think of the Bible story where Jesus is at the wedding. He about to turn water into wine. Listen, he about to turn water into wine, and Mary tell the servants, listen, Jesus is like, my time ain't come. I ain't supposed to be doing no miracles. Mary says to the servants, whatever he tell you to do, that's what you do. Okay? You do that. In this moment, I should have known when the Lord tell me whatever he tell you to do, that's what you do. I should have known a miracle was coming. Right? I'm starting to get hot in this car. So I said, I'll follow you. We go up to the Walmart auto place. Tony getting them to check my battery to see what's wrong with it, right? Tony got every man in the Walmart auto place, y'all, working on my car. He got every man in there looking at and it's just the battery. And he said, all he wanted, he said, he gonna make sure it's taken care of. All he needed me to do was hand him my registration so he can know exactly what kind of car I drive, down to the model, In the meantime, Tony called his wife. Patty pull up. He said, you go sit in the car with my wife. I go sit in the car with his wife. I'm talking to Patty. We keying. And all of a sudden, about an hour later from this whole scenario done started, Tony come out. He hand me my keys. He hands me a receipt. He said, listen, I put a brand new battery in your car. $200. He put a brand new battery in my car with the warranty. It's 4 years. If I got an issue, come up here. Mind you, remember, y'all, I was saving up. I ain't got no money. I was saving up $300 to change the battery, but I was waiting till I had the battery on the last leg. And Jesus came in and changed my battery for free. That means I still have my $300. Now, this $300 gets important to the story. Trust me. It gets important, right? So I'm like, oh my God, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Then guess what happened after that? Patty, she's slide some money into my hand. You know how much she slid me? $200. $200. So not only did they come in, they inconvenienced themselves. My church wasn't even inconveniencing themselves. I've been going there for 2 years physically. Do I know a whole bunch of people? No. Do I talk to a whole bunch of people? No. But one person didn't want to be inconvenienced for 20 minutes. These people left their homes, went to their bank account and got some money to help me to make sure I was good. Tony said he ain't gonna leave me with the problem that I had. That was a man. So anyways, they hand me the $200. I'm like, thank you, Jesus, because I sure wasn't expecting that, because I was expecting to pay the $300 for the battery. They give me a hug. I go about my day. My check engine light is still blinking. So I go up to the Pep Boys to check what's going on, right? So they tell me, oh, for them to check the car, it's going to be $99. I'm like, listen, I got a warranty. If y'all did the things, could it be free? He's like, no. But what we'll do for you is we'll just check the codes and tell you if it's a major code or if it's a minor code. And that'll give you some idea if you want us to check it. But the moment we lift that hood up, it's $99. So I'm like, okay. They go out there, they check the codes, and the code comes back as something big. They're like, yeah, you need to, he's like, if you have a warranty, you need to take it up to wherever you got the warranty from, the dealership you got the warranty from, because this is going to run you some money. And if we do it here, we won't be able to submit it to the warranty. So I was like, Oh, okay, right? So now I need to figure out, because the car is still in safe mode, even though it has a new battery now. I need to figure out, how do I get the car repaired? Mind you, I'm still trying to go to my hair appointment. So I'm like, okay, well, what do we do? I call the dealership. And they pull up my information. They're like, yeah, you got a warranty, just bring the car in. So now it's about 3:00 in the afternoon, right? And the guy that I was speaking to, he was like, let me tell you what they got. Number one, he told me that with my plan, that had tow reimbursement he told me $150. And so I could get my tow reimbursed for up to $150. Also, they told me that if I got my car repaired there, I could get a rental car for the free skis. So I say less, right? But they close at 5. It's already 3:00, 3:30. I live without traffic 35 minutes from there. With traffic, I live about an hour away. We're headed into traffic. So I'm sitting there, I'm calling tow companies, seeing who got the cheapest one, I end up just calling my insurance. I double, triple checked with 3 representatives. And I said, if I do another tow on my ERS, are y'all going to increase my premiums? They was like, no. I say, bet. They was the cheapest option anyways. So it's $126. But by this time, my time has run out. I won't be able to make it to the shop in time. Right? So I say, okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'll just tow it up there tomorrow after my hair appointment. And I didn't know this either, because I've never had to do that. I've been driving since I was 17 years old. I didn't know that rental cars were so cheap. They're like $40 without the added insurance and all the other stuff. So I said, oh, that's cheap. So I'll just go get one of those, go to my hair appointment, return it, and then get my car towed up to the shop, get their rental, which is free, and then I'll just be out $40, right? Now, mind you, Patty just handed me $200. So technically, I'm still not out of any money, because Patty is going to pay for the rental. She just handed me $200. So I go up to the first rental place. I can't do it because I don't have a credit card. You can thank the Lord Jesus for that after all we've been through. I don't got no credit card. Place number 1 says, your credit's not good enough, we can't take you. Place number 2, same thing. Your credit not good enough for you to use a debit card, you can't rent from us. I said, Lord Jesus, I don't know what's going on, but something is fighting me for sure. I go to a third rental car place, and they said, we can rent to you as long as you live in this city, and you have to do a $300 deposit. You have to do a $300 deposit. Guess who had $300? I did. I had $300. So I said, bet. I pull up, I give her the $300. I get the rental car right before they closed. The very next day, I go to my hair appointment, y'all. Exciting stuff. And it's up right now, but yeah, it got done. I go to my hair appointment. Now, I'm sitting in my hair appointment, and I see this lady with this bag that I had wanted a couple months ago. It's a Kurt Geiger bag. It's the denim one, right? And I'm like, oh, I wanted that bag. I remember that bag. I'm like, it's so cute. I remember I told the Lord, I said, Lord, when we have some money, I would like to buy that bag. Now, this is Wednesday. On Sunday, right? Let me tell you how God is so good. On Sunday, my mom called me, and she says, she ends up asking me, she was like, you know, like, do you have any plans for your birthday? And I'm like, no, I don't have no plans. She's like, is there anything specific that you wanted? I was like, no, not really, you know. And she goes, well, last night, last night, an angel came to me in my dreams. And she says, the way I knew it was an angel is because it was just me and that other person. She was like, we weren't doing nothing except talking. She said, an angel came to me in my dreams last night and told me to send you $330. She said, so did you pray for anything specific last night? And I looked at her and I said, no, I didn't really pray for nothing last night, you know? And then my mom, she goes, okay, because the angel told me to send you this money so that way you could do something that makes you happy, or you can purchase you something that will make you happy. And my mama goes, is there a purse or something that you wanted? So now I'm like, no, I'm on Sunday. I was like, no, it's not really nothing that I wanted. You know, like I need to buy some more clothes. Like it's getting cold, so I need more bottoms, but it's not really nothing that I wanted, right? She was like, oh, okay. I said, but you know me, I said, who am I to tell you to be disobedient to the Lord? Right? So if you got the money, baby, send the money. If you got the money, the Lord told you to send the money, send the money. Don't you be disobedient to the Lord today, okay? But my mom ends up sending me $330. And so I go to the car rental place. I spend $300 on the rental. Hold on. No, I'm past that. I go to the car, the hair place. I pay for my hair. I'm trying to figure out, okay, all of these numbers may not add up. This happened a few weeks ago, so don't mind me, but I'm gonna give it to you to the best of my remembrance. I go to the hair place. I see the bag, and I remember the conversation that I had with my mom. And I'm like, this is what God was talking about. This is what God was talking about. I get my hair done. And now I have done this drive from Long Beach back up to where it was Torrance. But from there to where I stay is an hour. So many times off the 405, it's an hour. Today, going in the opposite, because you know different times of the day traffic is different, so I'm going in the opposite direction, and today is traffic, so I'm trying to hurry up and get to the dealership before 5 so that way I can get another rental, right? Because if I need like I said, I don't have no home. I need the rental so I can have somewhere to sleep for the night. I also need to get home. Not home, but I need to go back to where I be at, where it be safe, right? And they was out in Van Nuys, the dealership. I don't know nothing about Van Nuys, and I sure don't know where to sleep at night, in the dark, in the cold, in Van Nuys. So I'm like, yeah, we need to get this together today. So I drive all the way back. And I'm trying to time everything because tolls typically take 90 minutes. I call up the tow people. I return the first rental. I go to my car. I drive with the tow truck to the thing. Because of traffic, we get there after they are closed, right? So the guy that I was speaking to the day before, he's not there. The only person there is the receptionist. I hand her my keys. And she says she's going to put it on his desk and he will give me a call in the morning. The next day was my birthday. I go over to the rental place next door and I get another rental, right? And it was a Mitsubishi Mirage. That thing is so small. I drive back to where I be at. I'm not gonna lie to you, at this point in time, I feel defeated. I sleep in my car. I wake up the next morning and I feel sick, like physically sick. I don't feel well at all. Like at all. All I had left in my bank account was $88 something, right? And I knew that if I went to a motel, it would cost me round about that, maybe $90 or something, right? And so I called the place and I said, hey, do you guys have any rooms available that I could come in for early check-in, And she says, yes, we do. I said, okay, what's the earliest I can come in? She said, you can come in right now. It was 7 a.m. My legs was hurting because the car was so small. It was cramped. And I was like, I wanted to get out of this car so bad. And she said, you can come right now. Now, if you know anything about hotels, motels, they work on different times. So 7 a.m., technically, you would have had to pay for the difference. You would have had to pay for the previous night, because their day don't start until 11 a.m. or something like that, right? And so when she said that, I said, first of all, I was like, oh, she must be new, because what? But I said, I ain't gonna look no gift horse in the mouth. I said, how much is gonna cost for me to get the room? She's like, well, we only have double beds available, and she's like, I only have double beds available. It's gonna be an additional $40. I called, my little brother was like, he was gonna send me some birthday money anyways. He sent me $40, lickety split. We make our way down to that motel, baby. We was in the motel and we went to sleep. We would sleep for several hours. We woke up around noon. Now, I was expecting a phone call from the dealership for them to say, oh, let me tell you what else happened when I went to tow my car, right? The second tow, the guy was asking me, he was like, oh, what's going on with the car? I was like, I don't know, the check engine light's blinking, da-da-da-da. He goes, oh yeah, and you got a flat tire. I turn around, y'all. My car had a flat tire. It was parked there in that parking spot for 24 hours. And between the time I parked it, I walked to the rental car place to get the first rental. So I didn't drive it. I walked. It was sitting there for a whole day, and somehow it ended up with a flat tire. And I knew for a fact, I did not I did not have money for this tire. I didn't know what was wrong with it. I knew the warranty was going to cover the mechanical issues, but I knew it wasn't going to cover this tire, and I didn't know how much this tire was going to cost me. Talk about stressed. So I go to the motel. I go to sleep. I'm expecting a call from the dealership. No call. I call them, and the guy who was supposed to help me, who I was speaking with, he was out that day. He wasn't going to be there. Do y'all know who I spoke to? The director of the service department. The director of the service department. Not the supervisor, not the manager. I spoke to the director of the service department. So he picks up the phone. I'm talking to Paul, and Paul goes, he was like, he was like, oh yeah, I see the car parked out here. Nobody looked at it. We didn't know what was going on. The person he was speaking to, your keys is on his desk, but he's not here. So no one knew to check on it. So here go me. Again, this is another situation where I have to make a decision on how to respond. So I'm talking to Paul, and I'm like, at first I go, what do you mean? And I could feel myself ready to go there. I done had a stressful couple of days, but I stopped myself and I said, I'm sorry. I don't mean to be rude to you. I'm just having a rough couple of days. And I explained the situation to him, what happened. He says, okay, let me look at it. I'm going to call you right back. I'm going to call you within an hour or so. I said, okay, great. Right after this call, I get a call from the tow dispatch company. I'm talking to Susan. They want me to do a survey. They want to know how well they did for the tows that I've experienced, right? So I tell them the truth. Now, by this point, I wasn't like, when I was talking to her, I wasn't in a bad mood. What I'm trying to say is I wasn't angry. Like, I wasn't cussing or yelling or anything like that. I wasn't being snappy with her. But I told her the truth. I said, Susan, I said, you ever been a young lady stuck on the 101 at night with cars driving past you at 70 miles per hour, and you're cold and you're stuck for 4 hours and you don't know what to do? And then I told her all the other things that happened between the battery. And then I told her about the battery. I told her about the flat tire. Y'all. Susan, she was like, yeah, that's a lot. Susan goes, here's what I'm going to do for you. Because I had to pay out of pocket for the first tow. The first tow was $45. Susan goes, and then I told her about their poor customer service because someone should have called me. Susan says, I'm going to refund you your $45 back from the first tow. Now, I'm like, thank you, Jesus, right? So she says, if you don't see no money in here by next week, give me a call back and I'll refund you your money. I say, thank you. Now, at this point, God is like, get up, go take a shower. We're finna go get our free freebies. I'm finna go to Buffalo Wild Wings, get my free 6 wings. I go take a shower. By the time I get out the shower, I get another call from Paul. Paul says, everything that is wrong with the car is going to be covered under the warranty. He says it was just a sensor. They just need to replace it. Your car will be done by the end of the day. But because it's late, they close at 5, I called them around noon. It'll more than likely be picked up tomorrow. You can more than likely be done tomorrow. You can pick it up tomorrow. Because you had to pay for the rental you currently have out of pocket because I got there late, right? We are going to send it over to the rental car company for them to reimburse you all of your money. All of your money will be reimbursed. So, that 4 hours that I was complaining about, they refunded me that money. And then Paul said 2 other things. Number 1, Paul said, because you were having such a bad day, I fixed your tire for free. And then he goes, don't forget your second tow, which I also paid for out of pocket, which was $120 something. He said you can be reimbursed for that tow up to $100. So I'm tripping about the car. I'm tripping about the price of everything that I've had to pay out of pocket, not sure where the money was going to come from. Literally, the first tow was refunded. The engine issues were paid by the warranty. The tire, Paul and them fixed for free. And the second tow is currently in the process to be reimbursed with their claims department. And I spoke to the representative and she said, as long as they covered your car charges, whatever the charges was for the car, your tow should have no issue being covered. I'm waiting on them to cut the check. And I got to spend a night in a motel room, sleeping in a bed. And I was absolutely correct when I said this could just be a couple hour issue and not a like a whole drawn out thing. That's why I was rushing trying to get them cables, because this could probably just be something that get fixed in 4 hours. And it was. I was right. But all of this stuff happened. And God still had me. So here's a couple things that hold on. I just heard the Lord say I forgot one part. So I wrote this stuff down. Oh yeah. Oh, I remember now. So remember, going back to this purse. So, from the first car rental, the money that my mom gave me, I ended up using, I remember now. So that same night I went to church. My birthday fell on church night. I didn't have nothing else to do. It don't matter. the house of God is always a great place to be. I went to church. When I left from church, I said, I'm curious how much that bag costs. The bag that she had that I originally wanted was $300 something. I said, oh, we don't got enough money for that. We don't have enough money for that. And but I said, well, let me just keep scrolling. I saw this bag and I said, oh my God, this is a beautiful bag. I want this bag. Do y'all want to know how much this bag cost me? It was half off. It was 50% off. And I have the bag now. I ordered it that same day because I had the money in my account. I got this bag in 3 days. And it only took 3 days because I ordered it on Friday morning. If I had ordered it earlier, it probably would have came the next day because it shipped out of Riverside. So I got the purse, and then I had to pay $100 deductible, and I paid that because the warranty had a deductible. And yeah, this whole situation was taken care of. But I learned a couple things, and here's the first thing I learned. First thing I learned was this. We give the devil way too much credit. We do. Because I went through this entire situation, and through most of it, I was saying the devil is fighting me. The devil is fighting me. The devil is fighting me. And the whole time is God blessing me to make sure that I was covered. It was because, and then my second lesson was, sometimes we be fighting and we're thinking it's the enemy, and the whole time is God. It's God literally trying to keep us, to protect us, to help us, to bless us. The second thing I learned is, and I can't stress this, and not even learned because I've been knowing this, but it just like really emphasized it. And the second thing that is obedience. Obedience, because there are several things that the Lord told me to do that if I had not been obedient, I wouldn't have been blessed the way that I was. And what I mean is that I heard the Lord say it. I heard my mama say it. Go park by the church. My right mind said, don't park there. My right mind. But if I had, because it didn't make sense to me why I would need to park there when I should have parked somewhere else, knowing that the battery could die. But I knew I heard God say, go park it over there. I know for sure I heard my mama say it. And what happened? I had to go through 6 people. It should be realistically impossible to meet that many people who don't have jumper cables in one day and one set time frame. And the one person who got cables, her cables was bad. And so I went through all these people. The Lord allowed all these people to reject me, to deny me, for me to get to the one person at the end who blessed me tremendously. Who blessed me. But if I had been disobedient, if I had said, I'm going to do what I believe was right, the people at the Pep Boys probably would have figured out some way to get the car up. They probably had one of them little portable chargers or whatever. And then I would have been up handling the rest of the stuff, because the money Patty gave me covered the first rental and it covered the second tow. So really, at this point in time, I went out no money. I wasn't. And so if I had been disobedient, if I hadn't went through so many trials, so much rejection, so that I can get to, so before I got so I can get so fed up that I relinquished. I said, you know what? I'm going to just call this one last person. And if they can't help me, then I'm taking that as a sign that God just want me to sit here. But I had to go through all them different steps and stages first. All that rejection first. And then the Lord blessed me. But it started first with my obedience. It started first with my obedience. It started first with my obedience. Then the second thing was God said, follow Tony. Follow Tony. Because if I had took Tony to the other place, I'm not saying he wouldn't have, but there's a chance he wouldn't have. Because then maybe that was too much. He didn't want to pay that much. I don't know. But I know the Lord said, follow Tony. And I know the Lord said, make sure you get your car towed today. That the second tow that I got towed, and that when I reached there, it was closed. I was frustrated. I couldn't understand, Lord, why would you tell me to get it towed today when you know they're going to be closed? So I would have to pay out of pocket for the rental. And I don't even know if they're going to pick the rental up. I'm assuming they will. But you know what happens when you make assumptions. Yeah. So, but I know I heard the Lord say, do that. And then guess what happened? Because I was obedient to the Lord. The guy who was originally going to help me, he wasn't even there. I spoke to the director and he made sure my situation was handled. And I didn't have to pay for nothing out of pocket. The only thing that I had to pay for in this ordeal was gas for the rental cars. Because you got to make sure the gas is, I might have had to pay for some other stuff. But probably in regards to ordeal, I think it was just gas. But anyways, so I had to be obedient to God, because obedience led me to my blessing. Being obedient led me to where the Lord needed me to be for me to receive the blessing. That was the lesson, one lesson that was fortified. Another lesson was this: respond well. Respond well. Because if I had got on the phone with Paul and me being frustrated and I went off on him, he may not have felt like, he probably would have been like, no, you just cussed me out. I don't even know what your situation is. I didn't do nothing to you. And now you want me to help you and you want me to bless you? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And then the other one was to the church. Now, I don't know what's going to happen with them. I don't know. Only the Lord knows. But what I do know is that I had an opportunity to cuss them out too. And not to say that I would cuss in a church. I don't believe that I would ever cuss in a church. But what I'm saying is I had an opportunity to speak to them negatively. But you know what's one thing I don't like to do? I don't like going to God and having to, and being checked, like sitting in a quiet place and being checked over small stuff. To me, that was small. And I didn't want to have to apologize to God, ask for forgiveness for this little situation. Like, I don't know if other people feel like that too, but it's certain situations that you're like, I don't want to have to go to God and ask for forgiveness on this. I don't want to have to do that. And so I'm saying all that to say, respond well. Respond well, because you don't know who the Lord is going to use. You don't know when the Lord is going to use them. And the last thing you want to do is cuss out your blessing giver. Okay? So respond well. And so I think that's it. So it was be obedient, respond well, and let's stop giving the devil more credit than he is due. More credit than he is due, right? Because there really is no one greater than the Lord. There's no one greater in the Lord. And if I would say another one too is I got it. It just hit me. Everything works for the good of those who love the Lord. And I probably butchered that Bible verse, but y'all know, I think it's Romans 8:28. Y'all know it. It's very popular. Every single thing works for the good of those who love the Lord. Even when every single thing is going downhill, if you love the Lord, you're called according to his purposes, you're in the place you're supposed to be at, you're being obedient to him, to his voice, you got a relationship with him, even when everything is going downhill. Because for me, I felt like every single thing was going downhill. I felt like every single thing was going downhill, and it all worked in my favor in the end. It all worked in my favor in the end. So those are the 4 lessons that I have. If you listen to this whole thing, God bless you. But if you got some more lessons, drop it in the comments. Y'all let me know what you got from this. What did the Lord minister to you? Because I know this is for somebody. I know the Lord did not have me go through all of this just for me. And I know this video is long. This video is extremely long. It is. But I know that this is for someone. It's for someone. And so if the Lord ministered to you in some way in this, you guys let me know in the comments. But yeah, the Lord is good. Okay? God is good. And that is all that I have. I hope you guys have a great day. I love you. And that's it. Bye.